Hello English learners, how are you doing today? Welcome back to the English with Michael YouTube channel. Today I am going to talk about some British indirectness. So this is quite well known around the world, and that is that British people can be quite indirect, which means we don't often say what we're thinking. And now I know there are many other cultures around the world that are similar, so it's not unique to the UK. But conversely, there are many cultures where it's the complete opposite, where in your culture perhaps you're really direct, you tell people how you're feeling, that kind of stuff. In the UK, it's very, very different to that. And often this leads to confusion and it leads to misunderstandings. So today I want to talk about a few phrases that we might say here in the UK and what we actually mean when we say them, because it might be a little different to what some people expect. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about a kind of a summary, what to expect when thinking about being polite and being indirect in the UK. So the first one is, if someone asks you, how are you? How are you doing? I might reply, not too bad actually. Not too bad, actually. It kind of sounds a little bit plain. So when you hear that, you might think, maybe they're not good, they're not bad, they're somewhere in the middle. But I think actually this often means, I feel fantastic, I feel amazing, I'm really, really good. But we don't want to say that, so we say, not too bad, actually. Often if we say the phrase not bad, it kind of sounds like a slightly bad thing because we're using the word bad. Even though it's negative, why don't you just say good? How are you? Yeah, not bad. Why are you being so negative? It really is quite a good thing. If you say not bad, that just means I'm good, I'm fine. Even though it sounds a bit more negative, but we don't want to be too enthusiastic about how good we feel. So yeah, not bad. That's a good one to reply with. Another one is saying, I'll keep it in mind. I will keep it in mind. What many people will think when they hear this phrase is, okay, he's definitely going to remember what I just said. In reality, it means, I've already forgotten. What did he say? I'll keep it in mind? No, he won't really. He's already forgotten about it. So it's just a polite thing that people tend to say because they don't really want to remember, but they also don't want to say they're not going to remember. So hey, when you get home, watch this amazing movie. You'll love it, I'm sure. Okay, I'll keep it in mind, thank you. No, you won't. Another one that I love is the word brilliant. Brilliant. So when you hear this word, you might be thinking, oh, he thinks it's amazing. If you have some good news, I just passed my exam. Oh, brilliant. Oh, he says it's incredible, it's amazing. In reality, I think brilliant is really overused. And it just means good. Very simple good. It's not bad, of course, but it's not that good. It's not really amazing. Yeah. So, oh, brilliant, nice, brilliant. Not much expression. Yeah. We also use this quite sarcastically as well when someone does something really stupid or says something stupid. I just drank a whole bottle of glue. Brilliant, great. Yeah. So when you hear brilliant, it may not be a good thing, depends on the context, so keep that one in mind as well. Another one that's really common in the UK is cheers. Cheers. You might hear it much faster, a bit like cheers, cheers, something like that. And when you hear this, you might think, oh, maybe he's got a drink, he wants to toast his drink. No, really, it probably means thank you. It's like a really casual way to say, thank you, thanks for your help. See, when you leave the supermarket, you might go, cheers. It's kind of a really casual thanks. Yeah. It can also mean cheers with a drink. It has two meanings, but more often you'll probably be in a situation when someone's saying thank you. Let's just look at a couple more before we finish. Another one is, whenever you get a minute, blah, 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 blah. For example, whenever you get a minute, can you help me with this project, please? So in other words, when you have time, can you help me? And when you hear this, maybe you're going to take it literally. Okay, when I am free, I will help. I think often what it means is, I want help as soon as possible, right now, if you can, help me. But we don't want to sound so urgent and demanding. So we might say, yeah, when you get a minute, come over to my office and help me. But probably it's a lot more rushed than it sounds. One of the most confusing words in British English is the word sorry. Sorry. So if I say sorry, you might think, oh, Michael is apologising. But really, well, actually, it can mean anything. It can mean literally anything. We say this all the time, and I think I say it too much, to be honest, so sorry about that. But I really want to reduce the amount of times I say sorry. Sometimes it can mean, I didn't hear what you said, sorry. Sometimes it can mean, oh, you weren't looking and you walked into me, so I'm going to say sorry because it's weird if I say nothing, and I don't want to be rude. So even if it's someone else's fault, we might still say sorry. Yeah, so there are many, many reasons in which we might say sorry. It doesn't mean we're apologising necessarily. It just means maybe we want to kind of get away from some awkward situation. We want to sound like we're being polite. You know, we don't know we're saying it half the time. The final one is probably my favourite, and this is, I think you might have dropped something. I think you might have dropped something. It's a little bit different from the others, but this is when we use the phrase, I think you might have dropped it. I think so. Even though we definitely saw someone drop it. I know you dropped it, but I don't want to sound so certain, because sounding too certain can sound a bit direct and a bit rude. So we say, I think you dropped it. Yeah? Another example where I see this is when in the supermarket they ask if I want a bag. Even though I know the answer, I know 100% I do not need a bag, I always think about it, like, no thank you. I always go, There's no reason to do that because I know what I want to say, but I think I want to sound less abrupt and less direct. So I want to make it seem like I'm thinking about it, or as if I'm not so certain, because it usually sounds politer. I don't really know why. English is strange, isn't it? So that's my list there. I hope that was interesting. I should make clear that it's not always going to be the case. There are many, many reasons to say things, many different types of people. I think this is just a big generalization, but hopefully it's good to see. So now we can talk about the overarching themes of this topic. So maybe like many other cultures, I think we generally avoid showing strong emotions, especially to strangers. And this is heavily reflected in the language we use. So I would say we underestimate when we're feeling happy. I would say we underestimate when we are happy. And we overestimate when we are sad. So what I mean by that is, if you're really, really happy, it's the best day of your life, we might lower that and just say, yeah, I'm pretty good actually. Yeah, you don't want to sound too happy. If you're really depressed and sad, it's the worst day of your life, you might say something like, yeah, you know, it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm okay. You're not gonna be really obvious and talk about your feelings, even to your best friend, perhaps. The final point is, even when you're not happy, you still use polite phrases. I think this is very confusing for many people, and it leads to a lot of misunderstandings. But if someone is really rude to me, they kind of call me something bad, or they walk into me on the street, again, I might say sorry, even though it's their fault. So if you're being really, really polite, I think that is expected. That's the standard level. If you're being slightly less polite, but still polite, that means you're mad at someone. So you don't often show that you're really mad at someone. It's just a little bit less polite. So it's confusing, isn't it? But I hope this was interesting, this video. I hope you learned something and learned a little bit about the culture. Let me know in the comments, is there any aspect of your culture that's the same? Are you similar to this, or are you completely different? I'd love to hear about different countries around the world, so let me know. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.